As police look for clues, a community comes together to search for a missing grandmother.
She didn't have money, she wasn't famous, she wasn't, she's just a friendly, lovable person.
The latest on the disappearance of Opal Parsons. Also, some teenagers are learning dangerous driving habits. Why Nevada law cannot ban cell phones while teens are behind the wheel. And more on Britney Spears' comeback in Las Vegas.
We're watching out for you. This is First News 3 at 4 with Beth Fisher and Kendall Tenney.
Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for joining us today. It has been 11 days since a local grandmother disappeared from her own home, and today, complete strangers got together to try and bring her back.
Yeah, 81-year-old Opal Parsons was last seen August 30th at her house near Charleston and Nellis. As Denise Ross shows us, volunteers are now combing the area for any clues that might help solve this disturbing mystery.
100 yards off, no private property, parking lots are okay. If you find an abandoned house or something, call. Metro will come down.
They started out early, volunteers with a single mission: to bring 81-year-old Opal Parsons home, one way or another.
I just felt like I needed to. What if it was my mom?
Melissa Tuttle was born and raised in Las Vegas. She doesn't know Opal or Opal's family, but like so many others, felt compelled to help search.
Just wish them the best, and my heart goes out to them.
It's been a week and a half since Opal vanished from her East Las Vegas home, her van still parked in the driveway. Although Opal's ID was later found at Samstown, police say that lead has gone nowhere.
The more media exposure we can get, we had somebody that was out of town that might have known her that this week sees it because they were out of town last week. The more we can keep it out there, the better.
We are right here.
Which is why volunteers are out now, walking from Charleston and Nellis, 3 miles south to Samstown.
Some of the area being covered was searched before, but you can see some of that terrain is pretty rough. This wash, for instance, has vegetation taller than I am. It's very possible something was missed the first time around. Plus, detectives say it is way too early to give up yet.
Even if that means eliminating every piece of clothing they find along the way. For Opal's family, the not knowing has been a nightmare.
That's the question. Who would do that? How can you just can't conceive of someone taking an older woman, and for what reason? She didn't have money, she wasn't famous, she wasn't, she's just a friendly, lovable person.
Several hours later, the search is over, with police no closer to solving this mystery. Detectives say they'll continue reviewing surveillance tape and conducting interviews, convinced someone, somewhere, knows exactly what happened to Opal. Denise Ross, News 3.
Although there are no signs of a struggle at Opal's home, police do suspect foul play. Her family says she's mentally alert and has a wide circle of friends.
The father, accused of beating his 2-year-old son to death with a hammer, pleaded not guilty in court today. Paramedics say the toddler had been dead 6 to 8 hours by the time they showed up to Richard Martino's home in July. Martino's girlfriend, Brandy Reeves, will also stand trial for murder. Prosecutors say she knew the baby was being abused and did nothing to step in and stop it. Martino's trial is set for the end of October. Jury selection continued today in the trial for polygamist cult leader Warren Jeffs in St. George, Utah. He's accused of arranging a marriage between a 14-year-old girl and her 19-year-old cousin and forcing them to have sex. Attorneys on both sides are hoping to begin opening statements by Wednesday.
There's been a lot of talk lately about the use of cell phones while driving. At least 15 states are considering passing laws banning teenagers from using any electronic device behind the wheel. 15 states and the District of Columbia have already passed such laws. California's bill could land on Governor Arnold Schwarzenegger's desk this week. Local advocates lobbied for a ban in Nevada during the last legislative session, but the bill never made it through committee. Turns out Nevada and 7 other states have laws that prevent them from banning cell phone use while driving.
The chair of the Transportation Committee refused to bring it up for a vote.
Okay, and that the chair is?
Kelvin Atkinson. If it doesn't make through committee, then the rest of the assembly didn't get to vote on it, and it didn't never get passed on to the Senate.
Opponents of banning cell phone use behind the wheel say such laws are another example of government meddling in the lives of private citizens. And they say teaching students proper driving skills is a parent's duty, not the state's.
Tomorrow marks 6 years since the September 11th attacks on the U.S. Already, victims of that tragic day are being remembered here at home. Over the weekend, Palm Mortuary, along with dozens of Boy and Girl Scouts, put up the Healing Field. It's a moving memorial of 3,000 flags to represent almost 3,000 victims lost in the tragedy. The memorial is at Palm Mortuary's Northwest Cemetery on Jones, near the 215. You can see the display through the end of the month. There will also be several remembrance ceremonies, including one at 7 o'clock tomorrow night at Las Vegas Fire and Rescue Fire Station 5. That's on Hinson Road between Alta and Charleston. That station has a steel beam from the World Trade Center that's on permanent display there. It also has a special flag that has flown over Ground Zero.
An emotional goodbye to a local soldier who died in Iraq. Family and friends gathered at the Southern Nevada Veterans Memorial Cemetery in Boulder City to remember Army Specialist Travis Vergadamo. The 19-year-old died from a self-inflicted gunshot wound on August 30th near Baghdad. Specialist Vergadamo was laid to rest with military honors. His father says his son dreamed of being in the military since he was a little boy.
You know, these young men going out trying to fight for their country. And like I said, it's something he wanted to do. Nobody forced him. He wasn't drafted or anything. This is what he wanted to do.
Robert Michael Vergadamo says his son had been suffering from depression and panic attacks and was on antidepressants. While he doesn't blame the military for his son's death, he says he does question why his son was sent to Iraq. Every 30 seconds, a person commits suicide somewhere in the world. In the United States, the suicide rate is up to 80 people each day. Today, a local nonprofit organization is hoping to bring awareness to the problem as part of World Suicide Prevention Day. International Suicide Prevention, Inc. is holding its annual fundraising event tonight at 7 at the Henderson Pavilion. If you'd like to attend, you can do that. Tickets are available for $25.
Today marks 1 week since the adventurer Steve Fawcett took off from a private airstrip in Nevada and disappeared. The Nevada Air National Guard shot this video today from a Black Hawk helicopter. It shows part of the 17,000-mile search area. Fawcett took off alone from a private airstrip about 70 miles southeast of Reno last Monday. When he didn't return by noon as planned, a friend reported the 63-year-old missing.
We are continuing to treat this as a very positive and hopeful search and rescue effort. The communication, the coordination has been superb throughout the past week, and we are continuing to work very closely not only with all the state and county resources, but with the Hilton family as well.
Fawcett's wife, Peggy, released a statement today thanking everyone involved in the search for her husband. She also said she's certain it would not be possible to put together a better or more experienced team.
Unions representing about 1,200 workers have reached a tentative contract with the Stratosphere Hotel Casino. Culinary Workers Union Local 226 and Bartenders Union Local 165 are scheduled to vote on ratification on Saturday. Approval would make the Stratosphere the latest strip property to make deals with the unions after months of negotiations.
The Walt Disney Company has decided to take on or to act on its own to make sure its toys are safe. Disney officials say they'll begin independently testing toys that feature Disney characters produced by Mattel and other toy makers in 2 weeks. Testers will not only make random checks for lead in paint, but for other problems like parts that could fall off. The move comes on the heels of 3 high-profile recalls by Mattel involving millions of Chinese-made toys tainted with lead paint.
Veterans Memorial High School. That's what some say a new Clark County School District high school should be named. And those folks plan to pack tonight's school name committee meeting to plead their case. Now, Kids First told you about this campaign a few months ago. A group of veterans and families of fallen soldiers say most school districts across the country have a school named to specifically honor veterans, but that is not the case in Clark County.
We expect an overflow crowd. Yep, I just got 16 veterans organizations are going to at least have a representative there. We've got family members who have lost a son in the current war. I've got World War II veterans that are calling me today saying, I can't be there, I'm physically not able to be there, but don't do it for me, do it for my buddies who I lost.
Cimarron Memorial High School was named Memorial High School in honor of Valley veterans. Cimarron was added in 1990 when other high schools took on Western-themed names. So tonight's meeting is scheduled for 6 in the boardroom of the Education Center on Flamingo near McLeod. It's a story we'll continue to follow. Retailers and manufacturers are in town for the nation's largest trade show featuring children's products, and they are packing up today, but they're leaving many of their products behind. News 3's Luis Cruz shows us how they hope to help thousands of local children in need.
Inside the Las Vegas Convention Center is a children's paradise. It's filled with more than 300,000 square feet of the latest toys, baby clothing, children's furniture, and did I mention toys? The ABC Kids Expo wraps up today. There are more than 1,000 manufacturers in town for the expo. Many of them will be donating their products, like kids' clothing, to local children in need. Congresswoman Shelley Berkley and Commissioner Lawrence Weekly were on hand as the global charity Kids in Distress Situations, or KIDS, and All Baby and Child Inc., an organization representing children's specialty stores, announced they would be donating $350,000 worth of products.
It means that for a newborn baby who's being born, they're going to have all of the basic things that your child or my child would have.
WestCare is among the local agencies that will receive some of the donated items. It's a nonprofit organization that helps moms addicted to drugs kick the habit, deliver healthy babies, and teaches them how to be good moms.
After being out there for so long, you start to feel insignificant in the world.
Kimberly Daniels was addicted to crack for 20 years before she turned to WestCare for help. She now works for the group counseling other women. She says this donation will mean a lot to the women and children in the program.
Through all of the different entities that come in and donate their time and their material things or whatever, that's a form of love. Okay, and they get to feel that, and they learn that some people care about them and that they are important.
And Daniel says it's what they need to give these children a healthy start in life. Luis Cruz, News 3.
The charity says it will donate more than $55 million worth of products to children in need nationwide this year.
Well, happy Monday, everybody. It was a nice weekend.
It was a little bit warm, and we're ready. I've talked to a lot of people, Kevin, ready for the cooler weather now.
Yeah, be careful what you wish for, Kendall. It'll come here sooner than you expect, and once it starts dropping in October, it really drops. But in the meantime, we're going to stay a little on the warm side, and you may have noticed the clouds that have developed over the mountains. A couple of showers popping up, too, over and near the mountains. Yesterday, they were in the southern part of the valley. Today, over the hills on the west side. Not going to be a huge drink of water because most of the action has really been to our east. As a result of the clouds, though, temperatures have backed off a little bit, mainly mid-90s in most valley neighborhoods, thanks to our water-smart neighborhood weather stations. And as we look at a wider scan, we see that, yeah, there's a little activity in southern Nevada, but the brunt of it is farther to the east, and it's going to go even farther to the east. So that means we've got changes in store. We'll let you know what you can expect coming up in the forecast in just a matter of minutes. Kendall and Beth.
Kevin, thank you. A fast food worker arrested after serving a police officer a salty hamburger.
Plus, a woman taken off life support after being in a coma suddenly wakes up.
I truly do believe it's a miracle from God that I'm sitting here today talking to you.
The first thing this woman said when she woke up. And a reporter tackled on live television. We'll tell you what happened after he was attacked by a drunk fan. Plus, how Britney Spears stunned fans during her Las Vegas performance. And a win worth the wait. How one local high school football team got a victory after a 5-year losing streak.
A McDonald's employee in Georgia spends a night in jail and faces criminal charges after a police officer complained his burger was too salty and it made him sick. 20-year-old Kendra Bull says she accidentally spilled too much salt on the hamburger meat and says she told her supervisor and another co-worker and tried to wipe off the excess salt. Bull was charged with misdemeanor reckless conduct. A man caught on security picking up a bag of money that a little boy dropped has turned himself in to police in Michigan. The 9-year-old lost $150 in the parking lot of a Walmart, and security cameras caught the whole thing. The video shows the man picking the bag up and driving off. Well, police say all of the media attention in that area compelled the man to do the right thing.
Dramatic video now of a small passenger plane crashing in Denmark. The 2-engine Scandinavian Airlines plane had 76 passengers on board. It crashed after touching down, as you saw, when the landing gear collapsed. Fire crews raced to the site and began spraying foam on the plane. Everybody got out alive with no injuries. A reporter in Australia was reporting live outside the stadium of a rugby game when a drunk fan attacked him.
They had the Bulldogs on a leash. There we go, Broncos fans ruling just right.
Now that part wasn't so bad. What happened afterward was Ben Davis was harassed by the same fan for minutes, and then he was pummeled. Then other men got involved and repeatedly punched the reporter. His photographer caught all of it on his camera. Davis suffered minor injuries.
I could see getting hit in the back of the head, side of the head, and when I was on the ground there might have been a few kicks and stuff, but again it just happened so fast. I didn't even realise what was happening at the time.
Police have released images of the suspects and they're hoping to catch them.
It's a remarkable story out of Oklahoma. A husband had to make a heartbreaking decision to take his wife off of life support after she was in a coma for 2 weeks. But instead of peacefully passing away, she woke up. One day, out of the blue, Jill Finley's heart stopped beating and she fell into a coma. Doctors said statistically she had a 1% to 2% chance of being a functional human. So her husband Ryan says he didn't want her to live like that. She wouldn't want that. So he decided to take her off life support. And when they did, she woke up.
I love Mexican food, and I think the first thing that I said is take me to Ted's and take me to the melting pot.
After months of therapy and a new pacemaker, Jill is doing remarkably well.
Academy Award-winning actress Jane Wyman has died. Wyman, who won the Oscar for playing a deaf rape victim in Johnny Belinda, died this morning at her Palm Springs home. The actress was married to former President Ronald Reagan from 1940 to 1948. Wyman played Angela Channing on TV's Falcon Crest for 9 years. A lot of websites say Wyman was 93 years old at the time of her death. Her family, though, says she was 90. A public funeral will be held in Palm Desert later this week. Actor Shia LaBeouf spilled the beans about the title of the new Indiana Jones movie he's working on. It's called Indiana Jones and the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. LaBeouf made the announcement during last night's VMA Awards, reportedly against the wishes of the film's producer, George Lucas, and director Steven Spielberg. Well, Britney Spears' comeback performance at the Video Music Awards is not helping her already tarnished reputation. Stage 3 reporter Alicia Jacobs was there and says it appeared MTV edited Spears' performance for the West Coast and took out some of the close-up shots where Spears seemed to get a little lost, forgot the words to her own song, Give Me More. Also reportedly edited out were shots of audience members who were laughing.
Yeah, much more successful Kevin Janison's comeback, which has lived up to the hype.
Yes, despite your lip syncing.
And we have edited out the audience members who were laughing. Definitely. And trust me, if I sang, there would be more than laughter going on. Got a few clouds out there, sort of an interesting Monday. The humidity seeped in yesterday, had a couple of showers over the south part of the valley, and now they're sort of clinging to the mountains. Not much in the way of much needed rain, though. We've got clouds, we've got, well, it smells like rain, but we just can't get a whole lot falling from them. And this will be the pattern through the hours, and we'll see things begin to back off pretty much after the sun goes down, and maybe closer to 9 o'clock the clouds will break apart pretty quickly. Still pretty mild temperature wise. We're at 100 degrees with a northerly breeze at 7 miles per hour. That'll be more the rule tomorrow. Dew point at 40. Remember, that measures the moisture in the air, so we jumped a few degrees in the dew point, but still relative humidity in town 13%, and that's a huge reason why we just can't get anything to hit the ground from the clouds. So we'll stay around 100 degrees during the late afternoon, mid-evening or so down to 92, and To start your Tuesday, about 77 degrees. Again, in neighborhoods around town, pretty much the mid to upper 90s. If you get a ray or two of sunshine, you'll get a quick spike up to 99 degrees. McCarran's mercury so far has maxed out at 100. That's still above normal. The 79-degree morning low was about 8 degrees above normal. And around the country, couple lines of showers and pretty active thunderstorms. One from Michigan back down toward northern parts of Missouri, and a much longer front extending from, well, almost New York City all the way back to Texas. But it was these fronts that managed to push out what was left of Tropical Storm Gabrielle. It just stopped in the Outer Banks of North Carolina for a cup of coffee and then headed on out. That was about it. On the close-up radar view, most of the showers have been popping up in Arizona. Little bit of action around Mount Charleston toward Indian Springs and venturing off to the northeast. But once the clouds fall off the mountain, they collapse and do not offer any much-needed desert rain. And with that moisture off to the east and a flow coming out of the north, it's going to chase a little farther to the east and the south, and we will be drier. You'll notice less humidity for the rest of the week, so considerable difference there as we look ahead of the forecast. Here are some of the low temperatures expected overnight. Boulder City will dip down to 75 degrees. Indian Springs going down to the 60s. Tonopah all the way down to 51. And then high temperatures tomorrow. Pahrump should hit 101. Overton the same at 101, while Mesquite will make it to 102. Tonight for the city, 78 degrees will be our low temperature. We'll have those evening clouds. They'll be gone by late evening or closer to midnight or so. And then tomorrow, a mostly sunny day. You'll notice a couple of clouds developing over the mountains, but just a couple of clouds. 103 degrees, and I am a little concerned about that breeze coming out of the north in the afternoon, because if it hits just the right angle, we might get some smoke from those fires up in Northern California. So that's something we'll be watching. In the meantime, not much more humidity expected over the next week. Lots of sunshine. And this is the epitome of a very slow cooling trend that you requested, Kendall.
Yes.
103 for a couple days, 102 for a couple days, and then by the end of the week, about 100.
Better than 108, right?
It might be a shock to his system if we went from 103 to 100. And
he's got such a
overnight.
sensitive system.
Oh, very, very. All right, thanks, Kevin. Clark High School students have something to smile about today.
How their football team scored an unexpected victory, leading to cheers and tears. Still to come. Sue's here with a look at what's coming up tonight on News 3 at 5.
A local company that goes door to door to alert homeowners about possible construction defects is under fire.
And we have the right to knock on anybody's door and tell them they have problems.
Why some people are questioning the business practices of this company. And a sad time for family and friends of that missing BYU student, where her body was found and how police are handling this investigation. Plus, what the Healthline 3 team learned about how to spot sleep problems in your kids and help them get good sleep pattern. All that and a lot more coming up tonight at 5.
A lot of people interested in that story.
We need that too,
yes.
adults, yeah.
The Clark High School Chargers trampled the Legacy Longhorns Friday night in a major victory.
It was a major victory because this was a long time coming. We're going to tell you how long after this.
You are a prime example of why we should never give up on anybody.
Montel. Weekdays at 2, only on Channel 3.
If you like underdogs, you'll like this story. Congratulations to Clark High School today. The Chargers football team took home their first victory in 5 years. Under the Friday night lights, they snapped a 42-game losing streak. Kids have entered and graduated that school without seeing a win. So finally, they win a game. Clark High School beat the Legacy Longhorns 28-18.
It's hard not to cheer for
Oh, yeah,
them.
you got to like that. We'll be right back.
We sure appreciate you spending some time with us today. Thanks.
And hope to see you back here for News 3 at 5.